My problem with this government's approach to clean, green energy...
Victorian Labor government, it's now aiming for 95% renewable energy by 2035.
Which, by the way, has unanimous support across all parties.
Just waved it through.
The whole entire point of the project seems to have been lost.
Well, Victorian business leaders say they may be forced to take their companies out of the state because of rising gas bills and a potential energy shortage.
To maintain this view that renewables are the cheapest form of energy around, you have to make everything else more expensive.
Ultimately, it's human flourishing that we are here to promote. Targets and the measurements and the vectors and the economic statistics themselves, they are just ways to measure our success. We have a responsibility to be good stewards of our natural resources.
The Victorian farmers have taken their fight against these transmission projects that are going to be massive to the steps of Victorian Parliament.
Because the people that we are actually supposed to be here serving...
These things are just destroying our rural amenity.
As well as their children and grandchildren and their great-great-grandchildren and on.
We are, as farmers, we're going to protect our land.
They are all entitled to live in a healthy environment and enjoy its benefits.
The history of politics around the whole nuclear and uranium issue in Australia has never made a lot of sense.
That natural resource you're blessed with, you've got, what, hundreds of years of reserve just sitting under the ground. But no, let's ban it.
People matter just as much as the environment.
We keep hearing about cost of living.
Victorians are bearing the brunt of the cost of living at every turn.
On cost of living relief, Jacinta Allen would only say,
we are focused on how we can support Victorian families.
And yet they keep instituting policies that put costs up.
Victorians deserve better than this sloppy, panicked, virtue-signalling nonsense from government.
Ambition is not being matched by reality.
Within the industry and within the government, concern that delivering the projects is more difficult than they would have expected.
We owe it to Victorians to do this properly and to do it in a way that doesn't crush them with skyrocketing bills.
Victorians are set to see their power bills skyrocket.
It's skyrocketing.
So whatever we do, we shouldn't destroy the economic viability of the energy sources that we have now before we've cultivated alternatives. If you don't want coal, that's fine, but you don't shut down coal plants unless and until you have replaced the energy from another source.
More power problems as the electricity network struggles to maintain supply.
If you don't want gas, fine, but you don't strangle the gas industry out of existence until you've replaced the energy from another source.
Victoria, they're sitting on amazing gas deposits and yet they're pricing it out of the market. Just incredible.
And I'm so glad that I can say with a clean conscience that I voted against the 3 bills that destroyed the economic viability of gas in this state.
Victorian government to ban the use of gas in all new homes.
The state government now appears to be softening its hardline stance on getting gas appliances out of all Victorian homes.
If you want wind energy, well, that's fine. But even though your Hastings offshore wind generator project was tanked by your own federal counterparts,
the federal government has vetoed Victoria's offshore wind strategy.
Still brought this pointless bill to debate here today. You want solar energy, that's fine, but you didn't plan for it. And now people all over this state are having their properties quite literally bulldozed and taken away from them and their rights trampled on.
You've got big construction coming over your properties, compacting your soils, knocking down trees.
In your mad scramble to back-end a dog's breakfast of energy storage facilities and transmission towers across this state. Gas, wind and solar are just not going to cut it. Nuclear has to be part of the answer. Other countries have been using it safely for decades.
Nuclear power has been operating safely in Canada since the 1960s.
Sure, it's going to be expensive to set up, but not in the long run. Not when you compare it to the permanent stream of taxpayer dollars and the price modelling gymnastics that it's going to take, and does take already, to make wind and solar look competitive.
It's very difficult to see why being this renewable energy superpower is more feasible than being the actual energy superpower that we are today.
This bill is a farce. It's a waste of our time. It solves nothing. Victorians are suffering and they deserve better.